Hey everyone, I am the only Resh and welcome to the channel. We got some huge news today about the next God of War. Kind of sad news depending on where you're at as far as what console you have. God of War Ragnarok or just the next God of War, since we don't have a technical confirmation that Ragnarok is the title, is delayed to 2022, and also it will be on PlayStation 4 as well as PlayStation 5. These are two big questions since we saw the teaser for it last year, as far as will it be on PlayStation 4 as well as PlayStation 5, and will it get delayed into 2022 because 2021 is fairly close after the launch of the previous God of War game. So we got the confirmation from Herman Hulst, who is the head of PlayStation Studios, in a PlayStation blog post, and he talked about both Horizon Forbidden West and the next God of War, saying, "For Horizon, we think we are on track to release this holiday season, but that isn't quite certain yet, and we're working as hard as we can to confirm that to you as soon as we can. And for God of War, the project started a little later, so we've made the decision to push that game out to next year to ensure the Santa Monica studio can deliver the amazing God of War game that we all want to play." And it helps that he followed up that by saying, "With these things, something's got to give. It cannot be the quality of our titles, and it surely won't be the health or well being of our amazing team." And I say it helps that he said that because it is very good to hear that Sony does not want to sacrifice the quality of their games just to get the game out by whatever release date. It is far better to do it this way, and I'll get into a little bit more about that later. And him saying it surely won't be the health or well being of our amazing team, very good to hear that too, because we do not want the devs to have their well-being sacrificed or their families' well-being sacrificed to, like I said before, get a game pushed out by a certain date just so they can get it out by that date and get their financials and whatever. It is not worth sacrificing the well-being of the team. And there's a similar statement right from Santa Monica Studio, the developers of the game, saying, "Since the release of the next God of War teaser last year, we've been humbled by the amount of love our community has shown us. We're incredibly grateful to see so many people excited to experience the next chapter of Kratos and Atreus' journey. We remain focused on delivering a top quality game while maintaining the safety and well-being of our team, creative partners, and families. With this in mind, we've made the decision to shift our release window to 2022. Thank you for all your continued support. We've got some exciting things in the works that we can't wait to show you. Santa Monica Studio." So, like I said before, delaying is the right choice if the other option is sacrificing the well-being of your team and their families. No question there. And plus, if they didn't delay the game and just really tried to push for it to release this year and sacrifice the well-being of the team and just get it out no matter what, that could very well lead to a broken game. And we absolutely do not want that. We don't want God of War Ragnarok to turn into another Cyberpunk 2077. This franchise and the sequel to 2018's God of War deserves so much better than this. The launch of this game shouldn't, and I think can't, be tainted by bugs or just a rocky launch in total for how great and how big this game is probably going to be. That is not the right answer at all. I was really surprised to see 2021 initially as the release date when I watched the teaser trailer for the first time. Fun fact, the picture in my profile picture on social media, like Twitter, my YouTube little avatar, whatever you want to call it, is my face when I saw the God of War Ragnarok teaser, as you can tell by the logo that's around my face in that picture. And seeing 2021 displayed at the end of that teaser, I was very surprised. I was like, God of War 2018 came out 3 years prior to 2021. That, like, yes, games have been made in 3 years, but for a game as big as the sequel to God of War, and for how big this game should be, 3 years is not a lot of time at all. And some people brought up Miles Morales and thinking that Ragnarok might be a kind of smaller version, like Uncharted Lost Legacy or Spider-Man Miles Morales, being like kind of a half and half, like I guess spin-off slash full release, kind of that in-between point where it's not the full 40 however many hours that God of War was, since there was 3 years of development time. And I figured from the beginning that Ragnarok is not going to be some kind of in between like Miles Morales. It is going to be just as long as God of War 2018, as far as my hypothesis, I guess. And yeah, it was very surprising to me to see 2021 as the release date. And I don't want to say expected, but in the back of my mind, I kind of did expect it to get delayed. And always, to me, it wasn't going to be surprising if we got this delay, and I'm not surprised here now that we finally got it. And part of the reason I'm still okay with this delay is it gives me more time to play Halo Infinite. Fall and holiday release windows are when a lot of the biggest games of the year release. Call of Duties and Halos and Battlefield 6. The reveal for that's next week, and that release date's probably going to be in the fall. And there's usually a huge concentration of massive, really good games that come out in that window. So part of me is more okay with this because that gives me less of that congestion of good games where I don't know what to play and I don't get to some games because I'm currently playing other ones and then I end up either never touching them or getting to them way later than I should. So I'm kind of okay with this. This makes that decision for me as to what I'm going to play this fall. And then hopefully this will give God of War Ragnarok a more open space to be able to perform better and not have as much competition. Granted, I don't think it needs that much I don't think it needs to worry that much about competition because this is one of the biggest games coming out this generation, I think. Granted, it is only on PlayStation, so people who are only on Xbox don't have to worry about that, but still. And that is another reason that the gaming community as a whole should not lose their minds over this delay because we are going to have so many more games to play while we wait that are coming out in that same window of, I mean, the fall 2021 release window we assumed was going to happen for God of War Ragnarok, now pushed into 2022. I'm going to assume it's going to be fall 2022, maybe summer, but I'm going to guess fall as of right now. As for the game also coming to PS4, Herman Hulst said in the same PlayStation blog post, "You can't build a community of over 110 million PS4 owners and then just walk away from it, right? I think that'd be bad news for fans of PS4 and frankly not very good business." And that's the mindset we always come back to, the millions of PS4 owners who aren't on PS5 yet. And while it's kind of disappointing for people who are able to get the new hardware right away, it is very hard to argue with the fact of how massive the player base is as far as 110 plus million people on PS4 and what 7.8 or somewhere around there, I think, million PS5s that are out there right now, which leaves over 100 million PS4 owners who don't have a PS5 yet, who aren't able to play the next God of War yet. And I know I would not want to have to wait that long for the sequel to my favorite game of all time. I am very lucky and fortunate I was able to get the PS5 right away. And the selfish part of me does want it to only release on PS5 so it can only be next gen and they can focus on next gen and not have any possibility of it being held back by the PS4. But I understand, I do, and if I was in that position, I would maybe make the same decision that they did and release it on PS4 as well. Herman Hulst continued by saying, "Where it makes sense to develop a title for both PS4 and PS5 for Horizon Forbidden West, the next God of War, Gran Turismo 7, we'll continue looking at that. And if PS4 owners want to play that game, then they can. If they want to go on and play the PS5 version, that game will be there for them." And this, like I said before, I'm slightly sad about it. I do want it to be next gen, but I get it. I do. The player base is massive on PS4. Just that selfish part of me wanted it to be PS5 only and take advantage of all that new hardware. But the game's still going to be great. Look at Miles Morales. The PS5 version of that game is still incredible. It looks great. They were able to make an incredible game as far as like story, graphics, performance, gameplay. All that was still fantastic. And the game also released on PS4. I didn't play the PS4 version, but I did play the PS5 version, and it's still fantastic game. It feels next gen, and could there be a couple tweaks here and there to make it more next gen? Probably, yeah. So would God of War Ragnarok be a little bit better if it was only on PS5? Probably, I think so, but I don't think it's going to get held back as much as some people worry by being on PS4 as well as PS5. It'll still be a great game. It's still going to look great on PS5. It's still going to play great on PS5. It's going to be better than the PS4 version. Clearly, I cannot see a possibility where they don't release like a full next gen PS5 version of the game instead of just backwards compatible. There's no way they would do that. There will be a PS5 next gen version of God of War Ragnarok that you can play that will be better. And that also brings up the question, at what point do new games become next gen exclusive across the board? That is a whole conversation I'll save for another time and maybe for another video in the future, because there is a lot to that question. But it does bring that question to our minds when we get into this first 2-ish years of a console launch next gen, of when are we going to get the games that are all next gen across the board and not get some next gen exclusives and some that are cross gen, like God of War, Horizon Forbidden West, and all that. Please let me know your thoughts on the delay and the PS4 announcement in the comments. I would love to have more conversation about this. I was getting really antsy at work just wanting to talk about it in this video. If you want to get more gaming news like this, as well as Let's Plays, gaming discussions, funny gaming clips, more like that, be sure to subscribe here on YouTube. You can follow me and my other content on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, basically anywhere at The Only Resh. That's my handle, pretty much everywhere. As always, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, beat that boss, find that last collectible, roll those credits. I'm out.